Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, good evening. Welcome to the Maison de la Paix. Welcome to the Geneva Center for Security Policy. It's for me a great honor to offer these welcoming remarks. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to our co-organizers, the China Institute at Fudan University, for your partnership and for your contributions to make this event possible. So thank you so much. A special welcome goes to our distinguished speakers, Professor Zhang Weiwei, the director of this SAT Institute at Fudan University. It's Dr. Miko Huotari, Executive Director of the Mercator Institute for China Studies, and it is my dear friend, Ambassador Alexander Shali, former First Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, former presidential advisor, and this needs to be underlined, GCSP Associate Fellow. With that, I hand the floor back to my colleague, Linda. Linda, the floor is yours.
Now, Professor Zhang Weiwei is a distinguished professor of international relations and the director of the China Institute at Fudan University. He's a board member of China's National Think Tanks Council and editor-in-chief of the academic magazine Dongfang Journal. He is the host of China's popular weekly public affairs show, China Now. Part of his academic career was pursued in Geneva, and this he will briefly highlight himself, I understand. Another notable aspect of his career that I'd like to emphasize is his experience working as a senior English interpreter for Deng Xiaoping and other Chinese leaders in the mid-1980s. In his various positions, he has traveled to over 100 countries, and we are delighted to have him with us here in Geneva tonight. Please, Professor, the floor is yours.
So, thank you, Linda, for your warm introduction. First of all, I wish to thank GCSP very much for hosting this important event together with our China Institute. It's a great honor to address this distinguished audience. It reminds me of my previous lectures delivered here over 15, even more years ago at GCSP to various classes in my capacity as a senior research fellow at Geneva's Center for Asian Studies. My experience with GCSP is always pleasant and even great. How time has flown, and what a good memory. I'm thrilled that today's lecture is being held at the Maison de la Paix de Genève. The location of both GCSP and my alma mater, l'Institut Universitaire d'Hautes Études Internationales. As exactly 3 decades ago, I obtained my PhD in international relations here. I'm deeply touched today to see so many old friends, former colleagues, of course new friends, and some of my students as well. So it's really heartwarming. I'm touched. So many good memories come to my mind. Let me share a few stories with you, as they are also inspiring to today's lecture. Story 1. My memory first goes to Professor Gilbert Etienne, my PhD thesis supervisor, who had such a passion for China that his elegant villa in Gansakone became a weekend gathering venue for many of his Chinese students. When I completed my PhD, or rather, when I completed defending my PhD thesis on April 30th, 1994, the jury declared that I obtained a grade of 5.75 of 6, which is the highest in Swiss educational system, and recommended the thesis to be published in London with RCAE funding. Professor Etienne was so elated that he said, "This is definitely among the best in RCAE's history." But he also joked with a smile He said, Wei, as you know, Albert Einstein occasionally got 6. We still laughed. We all laughed, and understanding the beauty to put things in perspective. Indeed, it's futile to match genius. But we can still aim a bit higher and try our best to be original, creative, and even path-breaking in our own research and whatever work we pursue. And in this connection, some modest contributions have been made on my part. For instance, I put forward the thesis of China as a civilizational state, which has been well received worldwide. That is, China is an amalgam of the world's longest continuous civilization with a super large modern state. I'm proud that this civilizational state discourse has gained a lot of recognition worldwide. It's actually already a main political narrative in the world. Many countries now consider themselves as civilizational state or civilizational communities. I've also advocated since a long time ago a paradigm shift from the Cold War-tinged paradigm of democracy versus autocracy to that of good governance versus bad governance. Good governance can take the form of Western political model, but can also take the form of non-Western political model for sure, which I believe better reflects the real world as it is. Story 2. My memory also goes to Professor Kurt Geizteiger, a leading Swiss scholar on international security and strategy, with a keen interest in China and Eurasia. Even then, when I was his student, he asked me to write a booklet for his security study series entitled China, Economic Reform and Its Political Implications. Professor Geizteiger's broader concept of security, linking development issues to security per se, is inspiring to me to this day. And this booklet became one of the earliest scholarly writings on the China model, soon translated into Arabic and other languages. Being a close friend of Henry Kissinger, Professor Geizteiger's vision on Eurasia and China proved far more sophisticated than many mainstream Western scholars today, not mentioning politicians. Story 3. My memory also goes to Professor Anthony Hopkins, who is now an emeritus professor of history at Cambridge. As a world-class economic historian, Professor Hopkins had a starring orator with a dry sense of British humor, which we like very much. And in fact, his lectures were adored by his students at Ashi, and my English writing skills have matured considerably under his tutorship. His pungent criticism of the then prevailing neoliberalism, his caution against Eurocentrism in the study of non-Western societies, and his view that US should come to terms with the rise of China all remain fresh in my memory. Well, with these reflections in my mind, let me move to today's topic, navigating global security challenges. I will share with you my own thinking, very much in the Asian tradition of free debate and the Chinese tradition of seeking truth from facts. There will be a Q&A session after my presentation, so you can raise any questions, no taboo whatsoever.